everybody. Today I'm here to discuss with you a book I read recently. It is called The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Here's the copy I got out from my library. It's a very short book, about 140 pages. I believe my version is about, it is 108 pages. It's not really like that beautiful of a book. The formatting is a little strange. It's kind of almost looks like a self-published book. It doesn't seem very professionally done, but it still has a lot of great information in it, and there are a lot of interesting tidbits of advice. Basically what this book is about is it's written in parables, like little stories, short stories, and about wisdom, about people, to tell you how to improve your finances, how to get out of debt, how to do better off financially in your life. And apparently I looked up this book to find out more information about it. It was published as like short stories or pamphlets, and it was distributed by banks and insurance companies. And the guy who wrote it, he was famous for writing some books on finance and personal wealth and things like that. And so it's all set talking about this city called Babylon that was very wealthy and very well-to-do, and different people in it, how they saw, like, oh, this guy in my city, he's really wealthy. It's set, like, I mean, years and years ago. So they talk about, you know, the stories are about, like, trading and, you know, doing your job, but it's very, like, you know, oh, I'm a carpenter, I'm a this, I'm a that, how many horses do you have, you know, the gold lender and stuff like that. So it's really kind of charming in that way. And even the way it's written is it's really, like, archaic in speech. I'll read to you, like, some sentences. It says, yet thou do not all earn the same. So, I mean, it's a lot of thous and thy and things like that. So it's a little quirky in that sense. It was published, like, all together, all the stories came together. I think it was in 1926 that it was published, it says. So, even then, like, that's pretty old, but I don't think people quite spoke like that back then. So it's really supposed to be, like, this, you know, old-fashioned advice, but it's still very relevant. So I want to talk about a few things that this book says that can be applied to real life even today in 2015. So the first thing they say is that every part, a little part of everything that you earn should go to you. So you should pay yourself, essentially. And I think it's like 10% they're saying. So whatever you earn, take 10% out of your paycheck and put that into your savings account. In this book, they talk about, you know, take a piece of gold and put it into your purse. So I imagine, like, this little, like, leather pouch or something with a drawstring, and, like, you're putting a little bit in of all your earnings. So that's the first thing, to start paying yourself. And the more you make, I think a lot of people find this, like, as they get a raise or they get a job and they go through their career and they earn more and more, they're just, somehow their expenses expand. So he even addresses this, and he says the more money that you make, you know, of course, like, the more you're gonna, you know, have more expenses. So it seems kind of out of control. Like, I have all this money, yet why am I not having money? It's all going out the door. And he says when you take that 10% and pay yourself, then you'll be forced to live off of what's left. So you take your savings first. So that was the first thing. I think that's definitely good advice for even today, to start building your savings up. And then also, of course, the next step is to reduce your living costs. So if you're having a lot of money going out on rent or on groceries, look at, you know, how can I cut back? Do I have credit card debt that I need to pay off? Things like that. So he talks a lot about controlling your expenditures and things like that. So looking for ways to reduce that. He talks about also owning a house, because he says paying rent to a landlord is a waste of money. And I know some financial books, others that I read, have debated whether or not you should really own a house. Is that really a good investment or not? So it all depends, but they talk about that. Then he talks about putting your money to work for you, and that you should invest in things, but you should only invest in a person or something that somebody knows what they're doing. So they gave some examples of a guy who said, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy all this stuff and I'm going to come back and sell it, but he knows nothing about the industry he's in. So don't give your money over to people who are not the experts, don't know what they're doing, don't know how to manage money. And that could be in anything that you do, like, you know, don't loan to a friend if that friend is, you know, not going to be able to pay you back and things like that. And so they give some examples that are relative to this story. But again, it's applicable if you're going to invest your money somewhere, or, you know, invest in a business, or something like that. Know that that person knows what they're doing, that you're going to get your money back, that you're going to get, you know, some return on your investment. So very good book, very interesting, very short read, really fascinating, applicable again to everyday life. So if you're curious about this book, which a lot of people talk about and quote as being one of those great books on finances, money, personal, bettering yourself and getting healthy finances, then I would definitely recommend this book. It's very simple, very entertaining, and it's a really good, fun, short read. So definitely check it out if you're interested in it and if some of the things I've said have piqued your interest. So if you read this book, let me know what you thought of it, what you got out of it. I really enjoyed it. I love reading about money, about personal finance, and little tips and tricks. So I found it really enjoyable, aside from it being kind of couched in this little, like, parables and the weird language. It was kind of quirky and archaic, but it did work. It wasn't very long, so I did enjoy it. So like I said, if you read it, let me know what you think. And if you know of any other great, cool books like this, let me know. I would love to look them up and read them. That's it for now. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye, guys.